Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is dedicated to the hockey players, at least the ones who showed up last night. Well, I stayed up late watching the big speech. I can't just turn off the TV and go to bed, so of course I was screwing around in the house until 2 in the morning. Great speech. Don't have too much to say about it. I mean, what's not to like? It's really wild to watch the Democrats sit down. I think the whole thing is a little bit silly. You know, did you clap? Did you clap hard enough? Did you stand up? But that's the way it is. It's been that way for like 50, 60 years. Who's clapping? Who's not clapping? You send a signal with that stuff. And for President Trump to say, hey, can we at least agree that America, the priority is America? And they would just sit there with bad looks on their face. You know, it was really acid, really nasty was Tom Suozzi, the allegedly reasonable, middle-of-the-road Democrat from Long Island. Did you see him? I don't know if he was asleep or if he was hungover or what the hell was going on with him, but he looked like an angry, bad dog, right? A bad stray dog. Do not wake me up. He was asleep. He was busted on camera. Like, what are you bothering me for? I thought, what else? Mark Kelly from Arizona, to sit there and basically to not root on, American goodness, to not understand that there is men and women and Americans. It was a great speech. I'll go through some of it in a little bit. I'll do a little bit of it right now. Let's see. What was the, this is it. This is where he says it out loud. Cut 4, please. Cut 4. President Trump last night.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
These people are crazy. They are crazy. It was a perfect way to kind of it was very reductionist and on the spot. What is wrong with them? Did you hear the story about the little girl who for about 10 seconds thought, maybe I'm a boy, and didn't want to tell the parents, but told some doctor, and then they actually started the transgender reassignment. And when the parents found out, they showed up. They were obviously concerned, loving. Oh, my gosh, what's happening here? But because the parents refused to acknowledge that their girl was a boy, they didn't let them have the kids back. They didn't let the parents have the kid back. That's crazy, nightmarish, weirdo stuff. And if you're a Democrat, and I got friends out there who are Democrats. I do. I used to be one a long time ago. This is not what the party was about. This is not what Chuck Schumer got into politics for. This is crazy, radical, totally off the train tracks, stupid, absurd. Could only be happening if half the damn country was high on drugs. And half the country is high on drugs. Whether it's meth, whether it's pills, whether it's weed, especially weed. You used to have to, I thought about, how do you get weed? Even if I wanted to get weed 10 years ago, 15 years ago, what would I do? How would I do it? There'd be some sketchy guy you'd have to go make arrangements with, I guess, right? Now it's you go to the store. You can damn near buy it at the supermarket. And if you don't want to smoke it, you can do the vape, and you can do the edible. Edible is like, I mean, it's like a boutique. It's come in and try our edibles. People don't know what the hell they're doing. They're throwing their souls away. It's only in a country that deranged could this crazy, weird stuff be happening. Anyway, what we saw last night was good, and we see those people sitting down on their hands, evil. The only thing they clapped their hands for was, there can be no political violence. Can we agree on that? And they got up on their feet and roared. And I'm not a proponent of political violence, right? But for them, that was code for January 6th, and we need more security, and we need cars, and we need this, and we need protection. What about the people? No, you're on your own. You know, political violence is kind of built into our system a little bit. I'm not advocating political violence, but I'm saying there will be violence if they try to take away our rights. If they try to do what they did under Joe Biden, right? There's going to be some violence possibly. And that's what the Founding Fathers had in mind with the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is there to protect the First Amendment. That's why it's the Second Amendment. For guns, free speech, free religion, free assembly, gathering peaceably, right? And if we have that, if we don't have that, we're going to need the Second Amendment. And sometimes I know people get uncomfortable talking about that or whatever, but that's what the Founding Fathers had in mind. It is a check on the government. The government is there for the people, not the other way around. And I thought it was a beautiful speech. And meanwhile, is it already blowing over? Oh, that was one hell of a snowball fight, wasn't it, downtown? Just good, clean fun. Among kids, right? No, wrong. That was a gang attack on law enforcement. And it must be treated just like that. You know what I'm talking about? Those guys who were hit with the snowballs. It was terrible. Hey, get the snowball fight if you don't mind. We had it from the Nats of the snowball fight. For what's his name, Mamdani, to call this thing a snowball fight. Granted, I just called it a snowball fight. It wasn't a snowball fight. Anybody who sees that video, it breaks your heart. It's humiliation. It's not a snowball fight when it's 1,000 against 3. 1,000 punks against 3 cops. That's not a snowball fight. That's damn near attempted murder. Here's a little bit of what it sounded like. Rah! This is horrible stuff. You've seen it. These poor cops. And these are the cops that Mamdani was literally giving the finger to 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was calling them racist and xenophobic. He saw a cop in the middle of Black Lives Matter having a really bad day. In fact, he may have seen a tear. And he's like, oh, wow, this is so beautiful. The cops are crying. I love it. I love it. He loves the delegitimization of law enforcement. And that's why when he sees employees of the city of New York going through something like that, something so brutal, something so heinous, anything can go too far, right? A game of tag can go too far. For him not to see that this went beyond a snowball fight, listen to the terminology. Cut 14, please. Mamdani, not leading, not protecting. All he cares about are those crazy, stupid, liberal whack job girls who voted for him. Cut 14.
I can just tell you from the video I saw, it looked like kids at a snowball fight. Look, I've seen the videos of this snowball fight. I think that it was a snowball fight.
You son of a bitch. A snowball fight. What about the cops who have, lacerations? There's blood. I'm looking at a police officer bleeding. If we want to go with your kids with the snowball fight, you do actually suspend kids. You kick them out of school for this kind of stuff. And if they're of a certain age, you arrest them for crying out loud. Let's see here. Again, he says, oh, it's no big deal. It's just no big deal. Cut 17, please. A little bit more.
Would you consider banning these crowdsourcing events because they can and sometimes do get out of hand?
So I'm not going to be banning snowball fights or organized snowball fights. I've shared my thoughts with New Yorkers, and I continue to believe that what we are seeing in this response to this winter blizzard from the city workers as a whole, and that includes the hardworking men and women of the NYPD, is part of why the city's getting back on its feet, and I'm appreciative of that work.
Thank you. Sorry, Julie, we have to move on.
What the hell was that gobbledygook? What was that? Oh. All right, here's a little bit more explicit. That was outdoors after they realized they have a bit of a problem on their hands. This is indefensible, but they got a lot of weirdos out there who will either look the other way or defend the indefensible. Cut 17. Oh, sorry, that's the next one, 18.
From the videos that I've seen, it looks like a snowball fight. I think that there were 2 officers who were facing lacerations on their face.
Call for prosecution of those who pelted them?
Look, I've seen the videos of this snowball fight. I think that it was a snowball fight.
I've been in a few snowball fights myself. I've never seen lacerations to the face. Have you? This cop's injured in the line of duty, and he's laughing at him, giving them the finger all over again. Are there? What are the mechanisms? For God's sake, impeachment? What? And what are you going to do, Jessica Tisch? You little rich brat, huh? I understand. It's unmistakable now. You love working for corrupt anti-cop mayors, Mamdani, Adams, De Blasio, and there you are. How? Just biding your time until you get the chance, right? Until you can be mayor. It ain't going to work that way. I'm going to see to it. You either resign now. You never should have taken this job. You never should. Oh, well, then we need her. We need her. Nobody will protect us. Nobody will protect the Jewish community like Jessica Tisch. Oh, yeah? Did she do that in December? Huh? She let those radical anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic Hamas supporters damn near right into the synagogue. And she apologizes and she gets a standing ovation. You know what I mean? Rich kids. I can't stand them. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Greg Kelly.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You know, the snow cleanup is kind of screwed up. It has been. We saw it the last time. And for a guy like Mamdani, who said the buses are going to be, fast and free, he couldn't even take care of the bus stops. See, the sanitation guys are playing a game with them. And I probably would, too, if I were in their business. They're trying to stick it to him one way or the other. Make it clear that they know how to do this and Mamdani doesn't. I don't know what kind of behind-the-scenes tension there is. I know what kind of tension there is just above board. You see, these are some really nice people. They actually, they're just New Yorkers. They're not the most political people in the world, but they took their cameras out and they documented just how hard it was for them, especially people with disabilities, right? Isn't the Democrat Party always saying how much they love and care about people with disabilities and how they support them? So you're going to hear a lot of people just talking about their little struggles here under Mamdani, trying to get to whether it's the Access-a-Ride or whether it's the bus. I tried to take the bus the other night. I had to go over a mound, a great big mound, and I had to step right into it. My feet were just like in 3 inches of sludge. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. How would an elderly person do this? How would a person with disabilities? How would somebody who isn't, I'm okay physically, pretty much. Not everybody is. Cut 16, if you don't mind, please. Cut 16. New Yorkers trying to make it to the bus.
This is Glomar. You see how this lady can't even barely get across the street? Because y'all want to shovel the snow wrong?
Mama, a little slippery here.
Because they wrong. Why would they shovel it like this?
How do disabled people travel in the snow in New York City? Because chances are they don't. I was just privileged enough to have my boyfriend help me yesterday. I had to go into work for a grant proposal, and no one was forcing me to go in. It's okay, don't worry. For the most part, we had to stay in the street because the sidewalks were just not safe. And thankfully, my boyfriend was there to push me through the snow, but without him, I would have been housebound this whole week. Even for Access-a-Ride, my boyfriend and the driver had to physically pick up my wheelchair and place it onto the lift so I could get in the van because the lift wasn't landing properly with all that snow on the side of the road. I also couldn't push myself because my rims were covered in ice.
I can't lie. The disdain that the city had this year for not shoveling like the corners and the crosswalks. Like, as a mother with a young child in a stroller, if nobody told y'all yet, y'all some idiots.
So it's been 1 week since the big snowfall in New York City, and we still have sidewalks that look like this. Now, I'm not sure how logistically hard it is to properly clean the crosswalks, but, I mean, does it take, like, community action for people to clean their own sidewalks? I'm just thinking about people in wheelchairs or people with strollers. They can't even get from the sidewalk to the street.
Now, New York, we need to do better. Because why am I sitting here every time I gotta cross the street? I gotta hop over a hurdle of snow to cross the street. Like, we need to do better. I'm not no Olympian. It's too cold. I'm out of breath. We need to figure this out now.
City that doesn't sleep.
Well, good for them. I appreciate their efforts. They're not asking for too much. It's not like they're even free yet, right? The buses, they're not free. We're still paying for this stuff. Mountains of snow. Now, some of that goes back to the last snowfall. It's kind of all there together. What can this guy deliver other than sticking it to, quite frankly, mainstream values? Mainstream, not partisan, New Yorker, right? Just not supporting the cops like that. Not only not supporting them, subjecting them to. Who's going to sign up for that job? Hey, here's something else. Why weren't there more cops there? See, what you do after something like that is you flood the zone with cops. All right, I see a Washington Square Park. They got 1,000 kids down there, criminals, thugs, throwing blocks of ice, snowballs, whatever. Got 3 cops. That's not a snowball fight. That's a weird pile-on. And it would have been understandable if one of those cops took a gun out. They could easily have feared for their life. Easily. And if they tried to actually perform an arrest, what would have happened? Would 1,000 people have rushed them? These are the things you got to think about. Now, why weren't there more cops? The mayor's response is a complete failure of leadership. This was not just a snowball fight. This was assault by adults throwing chunks of ice and rocks that landed 2 police officers in the hospital with serious injuries, head and face injuries. The mayor has sent a disgraceful message to every police officer who serves the city and a dangerous message to every person who might be looking to attack a police officer in the future. That's from Patrick Murphy, the PBA president. We had Scott Monroe yesterday from the Detectives Endowment Association. He was terrific on this stuff. This is an emergency. If this is the kind of situation we have, you know what we need? We need civil rights monitors from the Justice Department. We need the FBI. We need, I think we need some sort of monitor on the mayor. Now, we've done this before. Democrat administrations have sent in Democrat monitors of the NYPD when they thought that the NYPD was getting out of hand. They weren't. It was kind of a con job. But now the city is getting out of hand, and the civil rights of these officers violated. This is a civil rights violation. The other thing, why weren't there 1 million cops flooded into the zone? Well, here's what I'm hearing. All right. So what happens when you arrest 1,000 people for assaulting cops? Right. That's felony assault. And then you have felonies, all right? You got to write felonies in the book. He was arrested for a felony. That's a big deal. Guess what this NYPD wants to do under Jessica Tisch and Mamdani? They want to keep the illusion going that somehow crime is going down, that it's not a problem, that, even with all of our anti-cop rhetoric and all this nonsense, we're still driving crime down to historic lows. Well, only if you don't arrest people. If you don't arrest people, that's a really great way of reflecting falsely that crime is going down. And that's why they did not send people in there. That's what I'm hearing from my sources within the NYPD. How about that one? Everybody there was arrestable. Anybody who was in that scene, arrestable. You throw them in and you arrest them. You throw the cops, and we didn't. Where were they? You come to the rescue. And sometimes, and I know cops will do this, and they do this, you got to blow off the mayor. You got to blow off the mayor. You got to blow off the commissioner if the commissioner isn't letting you do your job. Hey, this commissioner, Jessica Tisch, is a politician, period. Everything she does, she is weighing with an eye on will it help her become mayor or hurt her from becoming mayor. That's why she was on the edge of her seat for weeks, right? You know what she thought about doing? She thought about endorsing Cuomo. That might have actually been pretty decisive. She might have helped. Look, I don't want to revisit the whole Curtis thing. Curtis, right? Talk about a con man. Curtis, 7%. We told him from the beginning, Curtis, you gotta do it serious this time. All right? No more with the dogs and the cats and the this and the that and the wife and the wives and all that nonsense and the shmooly balooly and all the crazy stories from whenever. None of that stuff matters anymore. You got to be serious about this. And what did he do? It was all schnooli banooli and all the cats and the dogs, and we're going to turn Gracie Mansion into a great big thing. That's why I had to give up on Curtis. That's why I gave up on Curtis. And it was the moment when I realized what a deceiver, what an evil deceiver this Mamdani was. Looking at that camera, lying about his aunt and the hijab, right? So we were doing all we could to stop Mamdani. I did all I could. Did Jessica Tisch? I think Jessica Tisch's brother may have, but what did Jessica Tisch do? Nope. She's, you know what she is? She's a cop buff. Right? She's been around the police department. It's one thing to be around the police department, but if you're never a real cop, right? But if you still are enthralled by cop stuff, you know what you are? You're a cop buff. And those guys can be very weird, very strange. John Miller was a cop buff. Remember John Miller? John Miller was that Channel 5 reporter, just a cop buff, right? Listened to the scanner all night long. Right, and then he becomes the press secretary for Bill Bratton and actually thinks he's like a cop now. Those guys are cop buffs. Speaking of Bratton, remember when he held up that great big bag of dope? The dope with the dope. He and de Blasio holding up a great big 1-pound bag of weed. This is how much you're allowed to legally carry in New York. And people started smoking. It was de facto legalized right now. Anything that seems to be declining, and it all is. Quality of life. Quality of craftsmanship. People are not as good at their jobs anymore. I trace it all to the weed and the pills and whatever the hell else is going on. We are checked out, high as a kite nation. So I see Sid standing there. How are you, Sid? Why don't we? I want to get him on this whole snowball thing before we leave, and we'll be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, we're back. What a treat. Sid Rosenberg is still hanging around the station. You should be getting ready for bed right about now.
I kind of am. I'm on my third meal of the day already, Greg. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm about to push about 10 hours at this point.
That's amazing. You stayed up watching the speech and the post-speech stuff. I must say, I was definitely I didn't watch the last half hour.
Oh, you didn't?
Come on. I mean, it's too much.
You didn't miss much. The last half hour, I think he awarded one more person. He did make a beautiful exit little speech about the last 4 minutes. We played it this morning. But it was a magnificent, magnificent speech. And what he did with the hockey team was great. I actually enjoyed the war veterans even more. 2 guys around 100 years old that got their deserved credit. And the way he treated the Democrats last night. You know, it's funny. You go, the way Trump treated the Democrats. The truth is, the way they treated themselves. Everything that Trump gave them, they earned that last night by acting like a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, they were pathetic. How about that? I noticed, like, come on down. He had him come in. I realized later, I don't think they had room for everybody to sit. That's why they had to have these people come in.
They didn't. Now, I had a ticket, of course. I never got there because Amtrak, I saw you in the morning, Greg, yesterday. I was walking away. But Amtrak actually canceled my train. So Mike Lawler and Nicole Malliotakis, they had my extra ticket. They could have given it to one of these people who received an award last night.
You know what's one of the weird things about going to Washington? It's suddenly you realize, like, you get a sense that, okay, I'm a big shot, but not really. Like, you're online, right? And the guy next to you could be, I don't know, the attorney general. Like, you're just everybody's a bit of a schnook compared to the president.
100% true. Now, I did have my one chance where I felt like that, and that was the third night of Hanukkah, East Wing, White House, 400 people, Trump up on stage, and he called me up with him. It's just him and I.
Yeah.
And he's going on and on. Sid's got the number one show by far. So I had the chance to be that guy. For 3 minutes on a Hanukkah night 2 months ago, I was that guy.
But then you got to leave with everybody else.
I know.
And then you got to get a cab. And it's like, my life.
And if I would have been there last night, odds are I never would have seen him because I'd be up in the gallery, up in the gallery, not downstairs in the chamber. I never would have seen the guy. So, you know, they're all standing there, the Congress people, they shake his hand on the way out. He's very good like that. You know what I noticed the last couple of years? This selfie thing. There are people that are politicians inside the chamber
that
are taking selfies with the president. How weird is that?
No, the moment you ask for a selfie with the president or anybody else for that matter, well, not anybody else, but you kind of identify yourself as a bit of an amateur. You know what I mean? Bit of a
fangirl.
You want to be cool. And by the way, I have had the urge, like, can we get a selfie? But the moment you ask, you're telling the person that, like, hey, you're really not on my level here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There was one guy last night, he was getting selfies with everybody. He got Trump, but it didn't matter. It could have been Doug Burgum. It could have been some guy you never heard of. This guy was grabbing selfies with everybody.
Well,
he was close. He was on the floor right by the Supreme Court justices.
Who did I hear say this the other day? Ben Sass. You know about Ben Sass, right?
Terrible.
He's the ex-Republican senator from Nebraska. He has...
And I hated him. I hated the guy, but now I feel terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made fun of him and all kinds of things, but
he's dying,
and he's actually giving some very interesting, thoughtful interviews. He's got like basically days left to live. And one thing he said about members of Congress, he said 95% of them just want to be TikTok stars.
That's it. 100%.
Just all about the TikTok and the feed.
Did you get him on your show on Newsmax?
No.
Oh.
I listened to a podcast that he did with some Reagan speechwriter, and I really, forget politics. This is a human being who is leaving the world. And what he has to say is very important.
Agreed.
And I think he's only 53 years old. So, that really, most people in Congress are compromised. Did you know this, by the way? Compromised.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, well, according to Tim Burkett, they're sexually compromised.
Is that right?
Well, think about this. If you go into politics at a young age, most of them, like, what do we really think motivates a young person to get into politics?
I would think fame.
There you go. And those people are wired a little bit differently. Like, it's not about public service. It's about, so I must be, they want to hear their name. They want to see themselves in a poster. They want to see crowds. And if you want that along the way, you'll take it in small doses.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You'll take it from a young girl. You'll take it from I don't mean young girl, but I mean, groupie women.
You don't mean Jeffrey Epstein. You mean
I don't mean that.
Right.
I mean, younger and but you're going to indulge that part of you, because you think you're entitled to it. Now, by the way, we all kind of want to. We all kind of struggle with this stuff, but I don't know. I never thought that at the age of 25 I was ready to go into politics. I just did not. I didn't know enough. I didn't experience enough life. And these guys like Kinzinger is an absolute head case.
Yes.
He's been in politics since he was 21.
I know. I don't get it either. When I was 25, I wanted to go to the Mets game. I wanted to go to the Giants game. I wanted to go clubbing. I wanted to hang out with young girls and do cocaine.
Well,
that's all I wanted to do.
Except for the cocaine. It sounds very reminiscent. Sounds like last week. No, I know, and also, or maybe Sid, you wanted to like get good at something, figure something out, make some money, learn.
Yeah,
these people don't want to learn; they want to be important.
Well, I think President Trump has, I feel badly saying this because I love him like you do, but I think he's ruined a whole generation because everybody wants to be this guy. And I got news for all of you people out there. You can't be. There's only one Donald J. Trump. There will only be one Donald J. Trump. He really is an amazing man. You could make the argument he may be the most influential man, maybe in history. I know that sounds crazy, but you can make that argument today. So if you want to be Donald J. Trump, slow down. It's not going to happen.
Or I would actually say this. He is worthy of emulation, but you really have to study him to know what you're emulating. He didn't take any shortcuts, right? No. This guy, he knows something. He knows how to develop. He knows how to make buildings. He knows how to buy low and sell high. This is a lifetime of learning that we are now benefiting from, I believe. So he's not a flash in the pan.
No,
know what I mean?
No, he's not. But on the flip side, that does beg the question. He knows so much. You're right. He's not a flash in the pan. You're right. And he's a business savvy, political now guy. Mamdani, on the other hand, who referred to what happened in the park as your average snowball fight, this guy knows nothing about nothing. And yet, he's in charge of the most important city in the world.
And not only not knowing, his judgment's terrible. To look at that. Can I hear that snowball fight again? I mean, this was a snowball fight. This is a damn near riot. It's a riot. Those poor cops. It's 1,001, Sid. That's not a snowball fight. And this is, not only does he not know anything, his judgment is terrible.
Terrible. They put a cop in the hospital. I mean, the police should be coming out. Jessica Tisch, I like her. She should come out and say something. I know she wants to keep her job. She
put a lame tweet. Yeah. And Sid, I urge you to. I understand. I've fallen for this myself. I think she's rotten at her job. She's in way over her head. I heard this too. She actually thought about doing what you and I did. We supported Cuomo, and she thought about it. She came close to doing it, but she wouldn't do it in the end. Why? Because it was better for her politically somehow. Because this person wants to be mayor. That's her guiding light.
Well, the two of them want to be mayor right now. She does, and so does the Speaker of the City Council, badly, Julie Menon. Both are going to run. Both want that. Two very influential women. We'll see who gets a nod.
So I don't think she's doing right by the city. She never should have gone to work for this guy. She never should have gone to work for Adams. But blinded by ambition. And that's what we got. And
you know what's funny about this? So I find it so fascinating because your dad loves her. Now, you're your own man. You're not Ray Kelly's son. You're Greg Kelly. You're a tremendous guy. But it's funny how one member of your family loves her and you don't love her.
I have not spoken to my dad about this matter. See, there are a lot of things that I talk about that I actually, but I don't know. And that's up to, I've not heard that. I have not heard what you said.
That he loves her?
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, he was so high on her. Well, you think
Sid,
love's a strong word?
It's definitely a strong word.
Really?
I mean, I've never heard love. He loves me.
No,
he loves my mom.
Right, of course.
Look, you need a commissioner. Look, in my opinion, you need a commissioner who knows how to make an arrest.
All right.
Who knows a little bit about what, and doesn't go to work. Think about this. 3 anti-cop mayors in a row, right?
Yeah.
Mamdani, de Blasio, Adams. Adams ran against the police department his entire life.
100%.
And at the last moment, hey, man, I love the cops. Just terrible. All right. Well, Sid, it's great seeing you, man. I hope you get some sleep and you keep succeeding at the highest levels.
I always have fun with you. You're terrific. You're great. Thank you so much.
To be continued, my friend, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.